describing a personality I have known for more than 35 years. And you all know that 35 years is the departure time for civil servants. But I refuse to depart because I know this day will come. And the CG has come back home to be with his friends and personalities that are gathered here. We are here to honor him. He deserves much. And I want to tell you, after today's honor, I will invite him privately to my village in my house and honor him. So all of you may want to honor him in your village. Please submit your names to me if I can make it happen. Let me not be able to recognize individuals that are here, but I will recognize two persons because of the role they play in the maritime industries. One is Alhaji Hakeem Olariwaju. He used to be the vice chairman of CRFFN, and today is the chairman of CCC. For those who don't know, that is Council. I thought people don't know about that body. Customs Consultative Council. And they do consult because they consult me too and pass on messages from above to those of us who are middle level. And the second person is my darling brother, the Vice President of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, a body I was the president for 8 good years, a body of which I succeeded because our CGC today was there guiding my steps along the line. And I'm very grateful to you. That does not mean we don't quarrel. And I like his style of quarreling. Sometimes it takes some days or weeks to send back the bomb to you that you offended me. And I've always apologized. Thank you for being here today. We have worked with so many CGC, but you have been a unique person. It's not for me to come and praise you because a lot of people want to talk about you. I'm just the chairman. If somebody is talking something out of turn, I have the power as chairman to say, hey, stop there. Am I not correct? Hello? But the caliber of people that are here wanting to talk about you are those who can gain a lot insight into what makes you a successful CG within the time you have come on board, what you have done with Nigerian Customs Service, which we have also imbibed, even though we are Nigerian licensed custom agents. I know that the only difference is that we are not wearing uniform. You told me one day. And that it is the interest of the job that licensed custom agents should also train themselves. And we are doing that training, sir. We are doing the training. And it's working well. Lastly, let me commend your efforts for receiving the 4 bolas sent by the federal government and your ability to let them know that this 4% they have sent to us, that's why I call it boza. It's like slapping. You have been able to persuade them to remove it. On behalf of all Nigerians, we want to say thank you, and thank you. On this note, where is our man? The MC can continue from where I stopped. But as the chairman of this occasion, I have the liberty to stop the proceedings if I know you are driving the train beyond.
I will not take so much of our time, but I will just talk about 2 things about him. The CJ that we have in Nigeria today is someone that we can call a natural leader. And I'm going to explain. When we are in school, the CG was our class captain. In class, we are together in the same class. We did the same course with the same year, everything. He was the class captain. And when we formed the departmental association, he ended up also to be the president of the association. And the CG is someone who loves sports so much, so he belongs to a football club, and also he was the captain of the club. And beyond that, he belongs to Man O' War. And interestingly, he's also the leader of the Man O' War. And when we left school, 35 years after, and we came together, we formed an association. Guess what? The CG happened to be the first president of the Board of Trustees of International Relations Association of Nigeria. For the entire 35 set that have graduated from that school. So he deserves a round of applause. He is a natural leader. So when President Tinubu appointed him as the CG, I was the first to write an article. I called it the Wale I knew. And I said, this is an appointment, a round peg in a round hole. And about 16 months after, the CG has actually proved to be a round peg in a round hole. The day he was appointed, he made a pledge for two things. One, he said, I'm going to demystify the office of the CG. I'm going to make it simple. I'm going to humanize it. I'm going to ensure that people have access to their CG. Don't you have access to your CG? Don't you have access to your CG? He deserves another round of applause. Because that was the first thing he said the day he was appointed. He said, my mission is to demystify that office. Secondly, he also said he will put Nigeria as the centerpiece of his policy. And if you wake the CJ up in the morning, afternoon, night, the word you are going to hear from his mouth is all about patriotism. It's all about how do we move Nigeria forward. What do we need to do to make more progress as a country? No wonder, or little wonder, about 4 months ago, Governor Soludo, he came out publicly that this country is still moving today courtesy of the effort of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and people like the CG of Nigerian Customs Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, my role is very simple: to do a citation of the CGC. But for a man whose profile is already on Google everywhere, everybody knows it, I don't know where to start from. Vision, diligence, and commitment are important in achieving set goals. The pragmatics call it preparation. But for believers who knows the pivotal role of God factor in the journey of life, it is called luck. The above aptly describes the trajectory of Alhaji Bashi Adewale Adeniyi MFR, the Comptroller General of Customs, a leader and a gentleman whom we all gather here to celebrate this evening. As a young officer, sometime in the 1990s, Alhaji Bashi Adewale Adeniyi was routinely assigned as one of the 3 aides to the then Customs Area Controller Tinkan Port Command, Alhaji Abubakar Malam. Apparently noticing the difference in Adewale Adeniyi, the Custom Area Controller, later headhunted Adeniyi to assume responsibility as the command's PRO at the Tinkan Island Port in Lagos. It was from there that the God factor catapulted Adeniyi to the position of National PRO of the Nigeria Customs Service. Even as a young officer, he began this journey with retired Brigadier Anglo as the sole administrator of the service. So from Lagos, the journey of decades of relationship with the Nigerian media began. It is that relationship that we are celebrating here tonight. From that fructious beginning at Tinkan Port, Alhaji Adewale Adeniyi eventually held the enviable record of being the longest serving national spokesperson of the Nigeria Customs Service. And I thought somebody was going to give an applause for that. This is a privileged position which enabled him not only to know almost all the problems in the service, but also mentally and meticulously prepared solutions to them. Adeniyi in the process worked directly with about 6 Controller General of the service. Alhaji Bashi Adewale Adeniyi holds a Master of Art degree in Communication Science in 2013 from USI, Switzerland. This is after graduating from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State. He's also a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. He is the 14th indigenous Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service.
Distinguished elder statesmen in the freight forward profession, chairman of Amato, distinguished elder statesmen, leaders of the various associations, gentlemen of the press, my esteemed friends, some of them from Ibadan, some of them from Lagos here. I'm indeed very, very grateful to have you. Sometimes it is good for us to go to events organized by journalists. You know, when it is we that organized it, they will come. I don't want to use the word used by the popular musician, you know, but they will be very quick to criticize us. See their lightning, see their microphone, see their speaker. But now they are here, and we can see it up close, and we know how far. But then, the show that I've seen here today, by all means, is a very spectacular one. Please put the hands together for them. All their women turn out very, very beautifully, very elegantly. And I'm so very impressed. Are these the same Maritime beat reporters? And finally, if Dele Aderibigbe wears a Afenifere cap, or Sheson wears a Afenifere cap, or Innocent wears the Obong cap, there is no surprise. But when you see High Chief Paul Okorocha wearing a agbada, you'll be surprised at what is happening here today. And he was trying to look for a red cap. He didn't get the right red. So he put a near red color. So instead of the word high, we just call him Chief Okorocha. We will not put high. I must also not fail to recognize my brother, who actually answers the first name Mazi, but you don't see Oakwe dressing flamboyantly. The only thing I remember about Mazi very, very vividly was that amongst the 3 of us here who did youth service together in Benue, 1988, the second one is Dr. Tunji Olubodi, who is seated here, MD Vanguard. Mazi Oakwe was in the football team. You know, the football team in the camp, Mazi like to do leg over each time he gets the ball, anywhere. So there was this crucial match, and he was inside our box, and he was trying to do a leg over. He ended up conceding an own goal. Mazi, the memory of that match will never leave us. I have seen virtually everybody here, and it's so interesting how you have turned out in your numbers to honor me. And I'm indeed very, very grateful. But there is no way we do this without looking back and remind ourselves that not all of us are here. Reo Gochukwu is not here. He was one of the flag bearers. He was a one-time president. Ima is not here. Obi Penyewa is not here. And so many of them that we can talk about. They all started on this journey with us together. And it pleases God that we are only talking about them in the past tense. And for their memory, I will request all of us to be upstanding and observe moments of silence, pray for the repose of their soul, and put their families in our prayers. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. May God Almighty keep those of us that are still alive. You may be seated. I had planned that I was not going to make any long speech because I don't want to be taken on any issue. But this award has inspired me to raise one or two issues, something to ponder on by my colleagues. The first one is to express my deep and sincere gratitude to all of you for putting this together. It has been mooted a number of times. Perhaps some of you know what attitude I have towards this kind of awards. What I always said is that, look, you are in a better position to assess us and put us in the right place. I am not really keen for these awards. But there was persistence from different people until a time when I got a call that all the Maritime Beats Association have unanimously decided to confer on me on this award. And for me, it's a very symbolic thing. Symbolic because somebody has said it, this is the very first time in the history of the maritime industry that this is happening. Even before I became CG, I had worked quietly behind the scene with some of you to see what we can do to address the proliferation of the beats associations. And I got one of you who shared the same vision with me. And incidentally, that gentleman at that time was heading one of the associations. And I told him, I said, you guys will make better impact if you are able to collapse all of these associations into one. He agreed to work with me quietly, but to demonstrate his sincerity and the kind of gentleman that he is, he said first, he will have to step down from being the head of the one that he was leading. And I'm indeed very, very, very appreciative for that gesture. Ismaila Anyemu, he was chairman of one of the groups then. And he said he will begin to make some of these connections, speak with one group after the other to see what we can do. It did not materialize. And then, of course, Wale Adeni became CG 1 year on, everybody decided to come together to say, let us give him this award. The symbolism of this is that if we use this popular social media meme of 2023, what God does not do does not exist. It means that we could have something that could serve as a rallying point, a unifying factor for all of these beats associations who never see any issue from the same point. It is indeed a very humbling experience for me, and it tells me that if we actually get it right, if it's the interest of the maritime industry that we want to protect, it means it is still not too late for all of us to begin to work together as a very strong unit if we come together, I am not sure there is any bit within NUJ that will be as strong, that will be as potent, that will be as impactful as this maritime journalists that we have. We could begin to toy with so many names, maritime collectives, maritime groups, whatever, but something tells me that this indeed is still very possible. I'm not too sure if you have any bit where you have a 70-year-old person who is actively practicing and is making impact. I was very, 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 very touched when I saw Asubex, possibly the longest serving and the oldest journalist that we have in Nigeria. Where are you, please? Stand up for recognition. I saw him somewhere. Asubek, please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much. And the way we are going, there are going to be many Hasubeks amongst us, because I've seen so many people who are still very, very active, and meaning that there is something in the industries that we do not have in other places, and I will only enjoin you to continue to find things that will bring you together rather than those things that separate you. And I give you an example. Look for training programs that we can pitch with agencies that will bring all of us, all of you, 2 journalists per agency. The various agencies will come together, we sponsor you to go to Togo and do a story on the myth of African ports, or some people to go and do how customs is funded in other climes. These are opportunities that we must all begin to tap into. I believe that when we stand together, we stand to benefit more. And before I leave that, this is also sending an email to the customs agents that we have. The story of customs agents followed that of the maritime associations. When we started, we knew them as only one. They were only one umbrella. And I think the journalists have shown that it's actually not impossible for us to also begin to identify rallying points, things, edifying points that can bring all our associations together under one umbrella. These guys, the maritime journalists, have already shown the way. And this is one challenge which I believe the Provost General, Alhaji Olayiwola Shitu, this is a task that I believe that you can undertake, working alongside with Alhaji Akeem Olarewaju, to make sure that periodically bring these associations together, identify common points that you can see that you can use to speak with one voice in the maritime industry. There is so much discordant notes in the industry, and it's not helping policymakers. Policymakers want to respect you when they see that there is a united voice from the industry. That is my second charge. The third and possibly the final charge is the fact that it's important, because of how I started this speech, that we put priority on the welfare of maritime journalists. If all the operators in the industry, operators in the industries are prospering, if they are, getting bigger in their business, and some of them started as portfolio customs agents, they're becoming bigger and bigger, and we are reporting them. I rose from 2-star, public relations, and I became the CG, and you are reporting. I also believe that your welfare should be the concern of all the agencies that you report.
God bless you, sir.
There is a lot that we can do for you in customs, and we've been trying to do some of our bit. But there is also a lot more that you can do by yourself. You must now begin to see how you can come up with initiatives that will help to drive your welfare programs. Yes, you organize programs for agencies, in the industries. I am not seeing programs that you are organizing for yourselves. Let's work on initiatives about your welfare. Can we think, for example, of an insurance cover for journalists that are practicing in the maritime industry? This is something that you can start. You can call for assistance. And this is one thing that I believe that I can speak to other heads of agencies in the maritime industries for us to join hands with you and look into the issues of your welfare. Only if you come together as a united front.